Welcome back to our YouTube channel. And yes, this is where you get the latest in property investing and investment opportunities. This channel is simple, is for real estate investors who are successful and future successful real estate investors who want to learn about the market, what's going on, and also how to continue being the master of the game. And in today's video, we're going to discuss a topic I've been researching a lot about. I want to just break it down with you. It's very, very simple. We're just going to be discussing retirement planning. Are you going to be using the traditional wealth building approach, or are you going to be using the real estate wealth building approach? And that's exactly what today is all about. And then the video is going to be in three parts. The first part, we're going to be telling you a little bit about how I got started in the real estate journey. And then the second part is going to be about the difference between the traditional wealth approach and also the real estate approach. And the third part is the most important part. I'm going to be giving you a case study about how this thing applies in real life. And then you can be able to tell me and give me your feedback on the comments as well and let me know what you think about this. So stay tuned. Also, if you check on the description box, you're going to find an article I wrote about this in length. And I think that is an important article for you to read in order for you to understand this concept much easier. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. And I think the first thing I have to just confess. Here's my confession. I love what I do. I really do. And I think that I love everything about it. I love learning about it, implementing it. I also love teaching you on videos like this about real estate investing. Most importantly, I love the highs of it, the lows. I love the threats. I love the opportunity and the challenges. That's what it's all about, And I think with that said, if I tell you that, you're probably going to ask me, where do I start, or where did I start about this journey, loving what I do? So I discovered property investing while I was in university. My idea there was, I never want to have a job. If I never want to have a job, I don't want to do the 40-hour weeks for 40 years, for 40% of my base salary. What is the alternative that I can do? I discovered real estate investing. Like most of you guys watching this video, I started educating myself through research, through reading books, through going to seminars, through mentoring and coaching, actually. And before I even started, the first thing I got was a mentor. Got a mentor. I helped me buy my first properties when I was still in university. It was exciting, I must say, to be a landlord in university. You just feel yourself a bit. I think later on, I started this business because I figured out, I can actually build a business in real estate investing. And now it turned into what investRand is, which is a marketplace that does two things. We help ordinary South Africans understand what real estate investing is about. The second bit of it is just helping ordinary South Africans meet their investment objectives. So when it comes to investment objectives, it can be broken into three ways. You can have an objective to get passive income, you can have an objective to have capital growth, or you can have an objective for safety. The safety one is not something that people talk a lot about, but most people actually do invest for safety. They don't care if it's too much cash flow or too much capital growth. They just want to know that it's safe or in a safe area. And that's what matters to most people as well. And we have to respect that. So in my quest of doing that as a business with my team, I discovered three things. The people who come to work with us at investRand, they're looking to either increase their earnings, to build wealth, or to build for retirement. That's the three things that people want. And then you might ask yourself, what does this have to do with the topic today? Look, as a young person, you might actually, if you're a young person watching this, you might actually not be thinking about retirement at all. And that's what I never thought about. I just thought, okay, you know what? I need to increase my earnings and build wealth. That's the most important thing. Until I ran into some interesting stats, which I'm going to talk to you today about. According to Old Mutual, an average South African, in order for them to retire comfortably, just put an emphasis on comfortably, they have to save at least 17% of their income. However, the reality is that 49% of South Africans say they have no retirement plan at all. And only 8% of South Africans say they have a thought through retirement plan. This is according to the 10X Retirement Reality Report. This stats shocked me. The other thing that you want to consider about the stats is that they were actually conducted within the people who are following the traditional wealth building approach. So the question I had in mind after learning about the stats was, is traditional wealth building approach still effective? What do I mean by traditional wealth building approach? Well, when you come into finding your financial security or financial independence or freedom, there's a lot of ways you can go about it. One way is the real estate investing road, and then the other way is the traditional wealth building approach. And those are the popular ones that we know. Traditional wealth building approach just involves getting a job after a good education, buying a house, buying a car, buying a cat or a dog, or maybe both, who knows, and making sure that you're starting to save for retirement. The idea there is that when you retire, then you'll have an opportunity to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So it's about saving. It is a time-tested approach. People have been doing it in the 40s, in the 50s, and they've been doing it for so long, and there's actually proper formulas put together by actuaries who can tell you, hey, you need, if you start saving now, you need maybe 40 million rand to retire or 60 million rand to retire, etc. But that's a time-tested approach that's been used by a lot of people. However, it also has its downside, which is it requires hard work. You have to work very hard for 40 years, and you have to be dedicated, and you have to be disciplined. Well, those are the traits you need to be successful anyway. But there's a catch. You also have to make sure that you don't get fired. If you get fired and you can't get a job, then you're going to be in trouble. And I'll just elaborate on that a little bit later. Another downside of it is that you actually have to make sure that you don't have any unexpected expenses. And I mean, that's unrealistic. If we have anything that gets you off your saving game, you're going to have a problem. So now let's talk about the real estate approach of building wealth. That includes just buying property, then you're holding it, and then you're managing it. Your ideal day is that if you buy a property at the right price in the right place, you're going to be able to enjoy your cash flow and also your capital appreciation. And that means even if you pay it off over a period of time, you're also going to be building on some equity in the property. So that's the exciting part about this approach. It does have its downside, which is tenants. That's the biggest risk. Your biggest risk is a tenant. If you find the wrong tenant, you're in trouble. If you buy in the wrong area, if you're not buying at the right price, or you haven't done your homework, also speculation is an issue. But that you can overcome by actually being educated about it. So I just want to put this in perspective for you. Let's say I have a friend called Jane, right? She's a 48-year-old beautiful mother of 2, and she is actually a teacher. So Jane, her entire life, she's been building a career in teaching, and she is living paycheck to paycheck. She's driving a beautiful car, and then she's taking care of her 2 kids. And then someday she decides, you know what, I'm gonna go catch up with a friend of mine for coffee. And then when she's catching up with a friend, and then friend is like, hey Jane, so what is your retirement plan? And Jane obviously just turned the question to the friend to say, no, what is your retirement plan? Tell me about yours first. And she discovered that day from that conversation that her friend has a thought through retirement plan, which makes her the 8% of the people or the population in South Africa right now. And on her side, she is actually part of the 49% or the 50% of the people who don't have any idea of how they're going to retire. And on top of that, Jane already cashed out her retirement funds to actually try to start a small business, and it failed. She had a business dispute with her partner, and actually they were going back and forth with litigation. So she spent a lot of money on that. Since that day, that was a wake-up call. She goes home, she looked at her financials, and then she started learning about investment. She starts saving, paying off her house, paying off her car, and setting a goal to say, I need to retire by the time I'm 65, which is 17 years from that day. So let's say she went through and improved behavior, saving, paying off debt, and paying off house and a car. If we look at Jane in 15 years time, do we think that she will be retiring comfortably? Well, the answer is no. There's no way she can do that, because if you read a 10x retirement reality report, it actually states that if you start 10 years late on your saving for retirement, you're going to have to save 25 to 35% of your income. I mean, on a teacher's salary with competing needs on a day-to-day basis, that can be as close to unrealistic as possible. However, let's look at her scenario. Let's say she started saving, she started paying off her debt, and did all the right things, and also invested in real estate. Maybe she picked up 1, 2, 3 properties, and then she managed to rent them out to some beautiful tenants in the right location at the right price. First of all, she's getting cash flow, and also she's going to be getting capital growth over a period of time. And by the time she retires, those properties are paid off and she's building some equity in there. So now let's come back to the question again. Do you think Jane will be able to make her retirement comfortably at 65? And I think the answer is yes. You know, so what do I want to share about this video? What am I trying to say to you in this video? Young people and people who are risk takers, entrepreneurial people, if you haven't thought about retirement and planning for it and working towards it, make sure you start now, start small, because if you start tomorrow, it'll be a day late. And that's the message for today. And make sure that if you like this video, you like and you subscribe, and also share it with somebody who can benefit from it. So thank you very much. And it was lovely making this video. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.